stick with the composition they've got, but it is interesting to see that Zeke moving over to a May flavor of Goats, which has just taken control of Mecha Base.
I'm really interested to see for Young and Beautiful how they choose to play it as well, because for Sooner, looking at the DPS sort of that we're seeing in this game, like I would pin him down maybe as probably the least experienced DPS player out of the four. Graceful, though, has got it in spades. He's played every single role in some form, in some team. And I think actually with all the guidance that Sooner would have had underneath Graceful, they could have improved a lot. And let's not forget as well, they have a French coach as well who can look after Sooner in Le Renegade as well. So between them, and between Solheim, between Le Renegade, they've got a nice thing working here with this team. Now it's got to start yielding results for them because they are 0-3. This is the week to turn it around.
Okay, so HSL moving in with this May flavor of Goat. Young Beautiful going more traditionally. Already looking to put the wall down, but they can't capitalize on it until Tech36 finds out Dings. It's not the target they're looking for. Progi follows up on the Graceful. Be first fight going over to HSL Esports, and definitely going to be that first cap.
Well handled aggression, stalling Sooner out as well, deciding to walk around the back of the wall. Should be able to get away. Well, they are chasing him down, probably desperate to finish him off. Not quite going to be the case. But they threw the kitchen sink at Tech36 there, and they had everything on side to keep him alive. They had the barriers down, the May wall was there as well, just in case. Just managed to keep him alive and almost cushion that aggression from Young and Beautiful, then immediately respond by chasing them out of town.
Forward, they're sitting in that Winston bubble. Danny will find Sardis. Tech36 going to take out Tonic, and Graceful follows up with a kill onto Tech. This is Young and Beautiful coming back swinging. They're going to win that next fight and get the flip very early on.
Now, they're playing a very interesting flavor of Goats, and many of you probably won't have seen it before. We're seeing Reinhardt and Winston come together. This has kind of been a spawn of NA Contenders, funnily enough, so the influence has come full circle now, taking ideas from those guys, where it's seen as a bit of a counter to Goats, because the idea is you send your Winston into the back line, threaten the Zens that he can't really afford to do much, and the team is then split, much like you'd be with Brigitte, between defending their backline or dealing with the attackers who are rushing at them. It causes a lot of panic on the other side, and of course, more tanks, never really a bad thing.
You've been speaking to Solheim again, haven't you?
I've been speaking to a lot of people about this. It's not just Solheim.
Well, Tonic's got that Earth Shatter. He's behind the wall. Press forward for all Discord. Nice shadow onto multiple members of Young and Beautiful. They have the Turdish charge, but not denied it entirely. Transcendence is there. Boost though, and keep everyone alive. Yeah, block Tonic out of the fight, and the sound barrier does come in for HSL Esports to top them all up. Tonic still looking pretty healthy. Bash was there, Shatter followed up, only finding 2. Might be enough for HSL Esports. Tech's going to remove Gustav from the map. Ashkov gets the boot onto Tonic, and Tech36 knocked off by Danny, who's the last man standing on this point. Alright, Sooner's there as well to take out Zeke. Shattered, not shattered, blocked up, stunned up, won't be killed. Ding finds it out.
Are they 2v1?
Hang on a minute.
2v3?
Young and Beautiful are bringing this back against HSL Esports. Danny and Ding take a bow.
Doing the work as a two-man squad into 3 or 4 members of HSL and coming out on top. That was like gladiator combat down there on the actual point itself, but Young and Beautiful come out on top. And despite the couple of environmentals we saw coming across, Danny obviously, of course, getting that one opening one, which really helped him in terms of bringing the Zarya down. You can see how hard it is with all these shields coming down as well for HSL to execute a back into shadow combination.
There's the wall. They placed it down, but the Graviton Surge going to hold him in that mid-air. Progi will find Sooner, and Tonic's going to drop as well. Getting close to 90% for Young and Beautiful. HSL going to get the flip here, but one more fight remaining for the Yab squad.
They'll be happy to back away here and come back in next time around. HSL with 4 ultimates coming online, though. Do have resources to play with here to potentially hold this out, but Young and Beautiful are so close to that 6 stack of ultimates we always speak about using in overtime, or when you just want to guarantee you win a fight. They can probably throw it here at the start of this fight with just the 2 ultimates they've got. The other 4 members will build their ults very quick off the back of that.
Third person peeking, using the shield. Trying to gauge where they're coming from. They went underneath. Didn't expect that one. May Wall comes out too late. They're not utilizing the May to block off the choke. They have to fight it in awkward positions. Tonic going to take out Zeke already. Shatter, drop down. Progi's there. Sound barrier to keep him alive. They're moving around the fight still. There's another Primal Rage popped by Danny. Can he get the environmental? He's thrown Progi off the map. You've still got the Lucio alive. Somehow Ashkov has not died. He's going to climb himself back up, but now he's going to be trapped in the corner for Danny to take out his dance. No one's left around. Young and Beautiful are going to have to deter a staggered offensive from HSL Esports, but they're going to take control of map 1.
Well, I was speaking about this comp being devised in the 5 hit of NA. Well, it's exactly why you're seeing it coming through here, as it plays so well into Goats, the double shield coming out. And I won't lie, there's been some people who've doubted the comp, but you will find this for the first few weeks of it being seen, is that teams haven't really practiced against it. They're not used to it yet. Same as the May Goats, but teams are slowly starting to understand and overcome. This is just another flavor of that, and again, another attempt at taking that title of Best Goats comp away from original Goats itself.
Well, you know, Young and Beautiful, just like a lot of things from NA, it was pretty free for them to take. So to keep themselves in this map and in this round. So they're going to jump onto Sanctuary instead. I don't believe we've seen this. No, we saw this one earlier in the previous series.
Yep.
We didn't see it in our first series of the day.
Nope.
Young and Beautiful. Going back to a traditional composition because HSL Esports not running the main anymore. Not expected to run it on this map at all.
With all the geometry, it's a lot harder for the Winston to do any job of driving in if that's what he's trying to do. I mean, in that last round, we actually saw Young and Beautiful playing it a lot more defensively, seeing the two main tanks play together, use the double shields, and then engaging together when they needed to. The jump was more for minor repositioning than anything else, so it was a very defensive style of play, but it worked wonders for them.
Love that Tonic and Progi approached that drum and they looked at angle to try and third-person peek, see where the other one was going, and eventually they just agreed they're going to go around that side of the drum to start attacking. Very standoffish. Look at the high ground being controlled by Tech as he gets control over the drum. Stand up there, start spraying down. Really hard for Goats to remove that D.Va from that position unless they have a D.Va of their own to start spraying down damage. Amp it up, being traded. Nice move back there against Young and Beautiful. Tonic stunned up with the Discord on his head. 2 + 2 = 4, and Tonic will also fall.
Tonic got a bit too aggressive as well, stepping forward, getting free stun. Tech almost DMX, finally just get knocked out. So a small consolation prize, should we say, coming through for Young and Beautiful. They will get wiped out. Progi swinging that hammer away, cleansing out most of the team. Does have his ultimate coming online very soon. Tonic a good 30% behind him at this stage as well. Like I said, the Storm's Tep 36 was nice, but he's going to reset as well and come back out with a fresh mech. Young and Beautiful might just be into the punch here, though.
Moving forward, getting close towards those ultimates. Zeke already got his Graviton Surge online, and Progi's about to have that shatter. Hadan joining Ashcroft with a support ultimate of his own. Looking good for HSL Esports to hold on to this one. Just don't misplay what you've got. Use the ults correctly. You should retain control here. See if you can get Young and Beautiful to burn some of their own.
I was about to say the
nice shatter into the nice bash into the shatter combo. The shatter doesn't come first. Zeke taking out Tonic. Pressing down, but Ding turning around on the Progi. Trading out them.
Double.
Look at all the trades coming in here. Graviton Surges, Transcendences, Self-Destruct. No one's going to fall down in that layered ultimate sequence. But Tech 6 finds graceful afterwards with the missiles, shooting him down quite handedly, and then they're putting Young and Beautiful on the back foot, still retaining control of the point as well. They just reached that 50% mark, and Young and Beautiful are going to have to try this fight all over again.
Good stuff, and you spotted it yourself as well. That early barrier came out as Tonic, and straight away HSL were like, right, time to push, been baited. Same happened just here.
Well, they weren't able to barrier that. Gustav taking Zeke out after the shatter coming out from Tonic, pressing on to the point and forcing them away. Still signing bodies from HSL Esports on that point to build as much charge as they can on this map, and they want to contest as long as possible because they know they're going to lose this fight. They want to get as close to the victory line as possible before they fully concede, and well, Young and Beautiful are having none of it. It's going to be flipped at about 80%.
It's kind of funny how I started speaking about HSL capitalizing on the lack of barrier, pushing for getting the bash down when there is no way of protecting your Ryan and landing a whole team shatter. In that case, Zeke got a bit too aggressive, stepped too far forward without the personal barrier and got shattered himself. And in the 5 versus 6, HSL did a very simple job of pushing forward and just cleaning up off the back of that one. Pretty back and forth so far. HSL at 80%, 20% for Young and Beautiful.
Graviton Surge, calls him against the pillar. Nice deterrence from Ashcroft to push away the aggressors from Broken. Still going down low. Tonic will find a flame striking. It's just easy pickings for multiple members of Young and Beautiful to fall here. They can't concede too much because HSL Esports, if they drop it, they're going to be giving over more percentage to Young and Beautiful. HSL Esports know that you need to win one fight and hold for a little bit longer. Just build up those ults, play with the time you've accrued for yourself by denying Young and Beautiful map charge already.
Looking at the ults as well very quickly. Transcendence about to be online for both sides. Hadan slightly behind Ding in that regard, so going to be big on watching when they come out as well as the barriers. Here they come.
Shatter blocked out by that shield. Transcendence coming in for HSL Esports. Graviton Surge pulls them. There's the layered ultimate from Mr. Ding to level it all out, and they're going to be fighting in that Transcendence a little bit longer. Progi has an Earth Shatter, won't need to use it just yet until now, just to confirm the fight victory after the Flame Strike comes through onto Tonic. The rest of HSL's on cleanup duty. Get on that point, claim that percentage, and look to force this one out. But the stagger being put into effect, they won't let him near the point. Danny's going to have to tie before he can contest. He's going to keep this alive as long as possible. They're really milking everything they've got here because they want to push it beyond that 90% mark before they even contested. 5v6, final fight for Young and Beautiful. They mistimed this, it's all over.
Prime example of where stalling can really come in to help. Even if it's early in the round, it's still effective percentage you have on the clock. They've been pinned up potentially here as well, but they've pinned them back in response.
Taking him down a bit late on the protected barrier to keep him up, but Young HSL Esports got that advantage as graceful. Going to go down to Hadan, Zeke sitting on the point. They've got a Lucio up there. Gustav trying to buy as much overtime as possible for his team to group back together. Self-destruct, looking for some clearance. They can still stand on the point and block out that damage as Gustav comes in again, buying even more time for Young and Beautiful to mount a defense, with Suna going straight down to Hidan. And all the Discord on Tonic. Graviton Surge pulls in any of the stragglers. Graceful will have to go down as he switches over to that Wrecking Ball. We're going to the third round. And Des, we're going downtown.
We are indeed going downtown. I'm curious to see if Young and Beautiful switch things up as well and try and mix out the comp there, because that stall that we saw come through onto Danny, like I say, you won't always see it in the dying seconds of a round. You might see it earlier on where it just wastes an extra 10, 15%, and that very well could have been a lost fight at 99%, for example, for HSL. So though it looks a bit funny when they do it, that is definitely for a reason. Yes. You can see where it reaches the rewards when it comes down to those dying moments of a round. Young and Beautiful, as it seems, hovering over on towards, well, bit of a split decision here in terms of what they want to run. Some saying, well, please, let's go for the Pharah and the Widow. Others saying, well, let's go for what worked for us on the first round, go towards that Winston and the Ryan.
I think they're expecting the Mei. They're expecting the Mei from HSL Esports.
I don't think it's for the Mei. I think they're just playing this in general.
The double main tank?
Yes, it's really good into goats, again, because you can isolate the back lines, and also you don't have the weakness of monkey goats where you don't have a front line, you still have the Ryan. And D.Va, yeah, she's good for combos, but realistically, she doesn't have the threat that Winston poses to the back line.
Well, Hidan's certainly on the threat there, but it's Krogi and Ashcroft that need to worry about as they're the first to drop. Graceful follows up with a kill on Sardis. Ding, giving those hands over to Tech36 so they get him with a D-Met, finish him off with a kill. Very handedly won fight by Young and Beautiful.
You've got to consider as well that if Danny's playing in the front line with his Ryan, not only is it double shield, you're also layering down that electric onto 4, 5, maybe 6 members of the enemy team. That's 60 DPS a second just onto the one target. If there's 5 there, that's 300 DPS a second. D.Va cannot keep up with that level of DPS output, which is why, if you're having a very brawly setup like this one, it's fantastic to play the Winston.
They're going to drop down on Pet's barrier onto Danny. They're pushing him into this choke. Earthshatter available for Tonic. He's stunned up, CC'd up. Going to commit the Earthshatter, but ultimately not going to be able to get much out of it. Zeke will find a double kill. Both those main tanks going down. Suna being the one to end his killing spree. They're pushing back onto the point. Graviton Surge available for Suna. Might want to hold on to this one. I don't think Young and Beautiful can win the fight unless they have some serious pop-off potential here. They're burning through these tanks. No more barriers left for Suna. They have to kill him now. Sardis removing all that energy that Suna's built up for himself, securing the point. Going to flip it over. Around about 40%. Nice denial there. They actually stop him from contesting the point and end it right there. Beautiful boot back by Tech36 to deny Danny the stall.
Ults online for both sides as well. This is where things get nice and pretty explosive and colourful. I'm most excited to see when Zeke gets his ultimate online, because that does enable the combo of the Graviton self-destructs. Of course, Young and Beautiful, they're lacking D.Va here. They don't have that capability of eating any ults that come out. Now, Danny I don't really define as a big eater, to be honest with you, so fair play. But still, they will find themselves missing.
You say colourful, there's only 2 colours you're going to see, green and white. And they're already seeing the green from that Transcendence coming out from Hidan. Shadow gets put down into the shield. Tonic doing good to block that one out there. Flame Truck goes for multiple members. Sound Barrier making everyone on Young and Beautiful white, but also even harder to kill. The self-destruct drops down. Danny being caught out by the bomb. Tech36 being the one to send that home to him. They stun up Tonic and Frogy, Sardis, and all the boys going to jump on him, finish him off. 43%. They've surpassed Young and Beautiful's charge, and they're chasing them back to their spawn room. Yeah,
I'm not quite sure what happened to Young and Beautiful's Graviton Surge. They didn't seem to catch anyone, or if they did, it was off screen and only caught 1 or 2 members, because most of the members of HSL were still in that fight and laying down damage and throwing in counter ultimates, for example. And I don't know, like, Danny's finally said, okay, right, if we're going to go for these head-to-heads, we've got to switch and play it properly. My concern now is in the head-to-head, they probably lose to HSL, as we've seen already.
But also, they're at an all-charge disadvantage. Even if it is by 6%, you're putting Danny onto a hero later than what Tech36 has been able to do. Soon him walking forward, about to get that 80%. You see the Orb of Discord on to Tonic. He's going to have to hide, break the line of sight, and get himself cleansed of it. He can't commit the barrier until he moves forward, just like that for Suna. Really burning through. Got the grab, he needs to find a good one, puts it into the corner, will grab Frogy, Transcendence there, perfectly in response. Tonic goes for the charge, but he loses more HP than his target. That doesn't make any sense. They move forward though, they clear that space. Earthshatter finds Tonic. There's a lot of damage being hit by Danny. That defense matrix stopping all the damage coming through to keep Tonic alive, but he can't. Defense matrix, a laser from Zeke. Ashcroft comes in with a sound wave, picking up multiple kills, and Zeke's going to continue the cut. 99%, overtime ticks down. HSL Esports take map number 1.
Even Young and Beautiful with the trans active last, they had 3 or 4 seconds of trans time where they just stood there on the edge of the point and didn't really want to push. So HSL were like, well, if you're not going to hit us, then we're sure going to come and hit you. Shield Bash came through, Earthshatter. Nice and easy round up for those guys there. So Young and Beautiful, maybe not as proactive or aggressive as I'd like to see with that end towards that round, but overall HSL, after the kind of not sure what to do it on mecha base against that double tank composition, definitely came into their own as it came onto the end of that map and take it away.
I think it was surprising to see Tonic, like I said, charge a target, and him came off with less HP than his target. Just unfortunate. Battered, yes. Well, it's the shield.
Not quite literally, but battered as in, you know, just giving a good beating.
Giving a good hiding, so to speak. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you map number 2. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders Europe. We're about to jump into our second map of the final series of this week. It is HSL Esports versus Young and Beautiful, and we went the distance on Busan, but ultimately HSL Esports came out with the map win.
They did. A bit of a surprise coming through from Young and Beautiful with that double main tank goat-based composition where you drop the D.Va for the Winston. But once they sort of figured out what was going on with that, they managed to adapt when it came to downtown and bring the win home. This means the next map pick, though, is going to be Young and Beautiful. So you'd hope they'd have some strategies up their sleeve. Always been a bit creative at points with things they've employed. Torbjorn on Numbani, one of the ones we won't talk about too much. Although we're heading there, so maybe we'll find out in the next 60 seconds. Actually, we do have to talk about it.
No, we don't, Des.
You don't know this yet.
I don't. It goes all the way back to previous seasons. I still have flashbacks to Aang doing it back when they were CIS Hope. And just, I don't.
They made it work a few times.
Yeah, but that was less about the impact of Torbjorn. I feel like I have to go over this every single time. Less about the impact of Torbjorn, more the fact that the team was so much better than their opponents, they could 5v6 and still win.
I disagree. Torbjorn was clearly the single 1v11 carry in those games.
But he's been reworked. He's not the same Torb anymore.
No, man, you can... I'm not a young man anymore. You see on one side, mate, it's like a turret on one place, you wander off to the other side, anyone dives you, you press E, and it's like, yeah, good luck killing me, mate.
Well, looking at how hungry Tech36 is with this D.Va, you can technically eat that Torbjorn turret because it's treated as a projectile.
Not when it's already deployed, it ain't.
No, not when it's deployed, but if you get in there fast enough, kill it, goes for the redeploy, nom nom nom.
Yeah, before the round starts, that's the place to do it. Well, Young and Beautiful are going to roll out with a Widow Sombra dive. This is a bit of a Season 2 throwback. Haven't seen that for quite a while. It's going to be Graceful heading up on the Sombra. Haven't seen him play that too much. Nope, changing over to the Sombra.
Sooner was on the Sombra to begin with.
He's on Sombra. Graceful's changed 3 heroes now. Make your mind up, man. The attack has started.
He's got Gustav on the Mercy, so it makes sense that he'd go over to the Pharah. You really only see Mercy being picked with the Pharah in the current meta. Hidan taking out Suna. It's the exact opposite of what's supposed to happen in that interaction.
Yeah, you meant to press E and recall, by the way, Suna. Check your keys are okay, mate.
He might have been hacked up by Zeke. He was there with the assist.
I think he was just basically like straight up killed. Like, Hidan maybe got a right click and it's just like, okay, see ya.
I guess I die.
Yep, bye.
Well, Graceful still on the Pharah, wanting to build up as much ult charge as possible, but HSL are making him work for it. They're not just giving him the ult charge, he has to expose himself to some fire. Yamp it up, repositions, nice hack on the Graceful, will ground him. They can't get the kill from it because Mercy's just sat there healing him up permanently.
Yeah, it's keep on poking in there. We saw a team do this last week, actually, where they just constantly sieged in with the Pharah and then at the right moment dropped in, went for the ult. As soon as the D.Va was hacked out or stunned up, there was just no way of her responding to what was coming out of the Pharah. Except to say the same sort of story here, because HSL, woo! They've been forced right back into a corner, but Hidan don't care. He's like, yeah, man in a corner, that's when I'm strongest. The rest does come through for the Mercy, though. Yep,
you get Mercy in there with that Resurrection. It's just part of a kit, and it's pretty useful, I should say, if anything like that happens. Graceful going to get back to it. Packed up the rest of HSL Esports. Graceful has the barrage nearly online, but Tonic's going to find Hidan and take him out. Still, HSL Esports looking in control of this. Young and Beautiful have to go onto the back foot. There's the Valkyrie from Gustav committing to this fight further for Young and Beautiful. Graceful has gone down. Pro was the one to find him. I don't think the res is on cooldown enough to keep this fight alive, but they've committed a lot to this, not to this engagement, and they're not going to get anything for it.
D.Va just chasing after the Mercy there as well. It was smart by Zeke as well, because as soon as he heard the MP come out of Suna, he popped his own as well, and that's where you saw Ding die at the other end. So although it was kind of, it wasn't impactful, it was in the middle of the team, they still managed to respond on the other side. And Young and Beautiful have now said, right, time to change things up. Back to Monkey Goats, boys and girls. Let's bring Suna back on to that Zarya and roll out the gates with that.
I feel like Graceful just spins the wheel of fortune about what hero he's going to pick, and he's ended up on Goats.
What? Wait, what?
What?
Oh, I was really confused for a second.
Were you? Good.
I thought Graceful was on Lucio. I saw G and I was like,
nope,
what?
That was Gustav playing Lucio, as he usually does. Well, he's going to drop that self-destruct and get remeked immediately afterwards. Hidan using the Transcendence as well. They've taken control of the high ground now. They're pushing on to HSL Esports. EMP being layered for HSL on top of a sound barrier as well to really take it to Young and Beautiful, who don't have a lot of ultimates to play with themselves currently. Ding will get the D-Mech on Tech36, but Tech36 not having any of that. You break his toy, he's going to break your life. Ding, going down.
Did just break his life pretty dramatically as well, as you might say. It's probably the best thing you can do when you kill someone is break their life. New expression I learned today. HSL though, with 1 minute remaining, they're looking pretty solid right now. Young and Beautiful have changed comps up a couple of times now to the stage where ults are slowly coming online, but not to the stage they can roll into the point and just to drop them here and go for it. But they've been given the high ground almost for free here. Probably come up to contest, but they're still going to have to take this high ground now and then choose where to go from here.
Nearly cost him his life. He drops back down. The healing's there for HSL Esports. Need to get him those ults online for Young and Beautiful. They got 40 seconds remaining. They need to be quicker with this one. Ashcroft being fired up by Tonic. That's not good for HSL. Losing the mobility and losing one of that healing components. Stardust off by himself as well. Young and Beautiful, they're just tearing HSL Esports apart now. Asuna finds his second kill of the fight by taking down Proby. Tonic again onto Hidan. This is going to be point A captured for the Yab squad.
Pretty simple, easy dives as well. Like Ashcroft getting picked off there. Like your Lucio should never get singled out. He's got boop. He's got his own move speed. Normally have tanks around him as well, since that's who he tends to play around. But still found himself very much so isolated and easy to pick off for Young and Beautiful, which led to the snowball win for them on that point. At least now the map can get started. We're on the way to second point with 2.5 minutes on the clock. Young and Beautiful with a few ults in the bank, but then the same sort of story for HSL.
Zeke, more importantly, keeping on that EMP, not changing over yet. Too valuable to have.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see him switch over after he uses this.
EMP is like a guaranteed fight winner. Like, you should win any fight when you use it. A few teams don't, but you should. They should use it here right now and win.
Well, they're committing the grab, sending the self-destruct in. Where's the protection? Danny going to take out Progi and get a mech as well. Without the Zarya, there's no bubbles to help fight against that. Zeke will take out Ding. Not worth it with what was committed. Zeke will have to go back over to that Zarya if he falls now.
Got to change over there. That was a bit of a really weird EMP to use it. After one, he did unstealth and started firing with the Zen.
He had to use it, Des. He couldn't stay on the Sombra.
No, I didn't rate it using it there. Like I said, if you used it as they tried to engage themselves, it wouldn't have been so bad. But he hung around in the backline, not really sure of what to do, and then focused hard on the Zen. Wasn't really the ideal use, but like you say, it didn't need to be used. It needs to change over. That's exactly what he's going to do. Back over to the Zarya. And HSL are back on full goats. Young and beautiful, though, still sticking on this monkey goats. Tonic's mobility definitely being put to good use, but they agree also it is time to go for goats, and everything is back to as it should be.
How many times can you say goats in one sentence?
Quite a lot, apparently.
Yeah.
When a number of comps have got the word goats in them, it's pretty easy to say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's young and beautiful. Moving around to that home stretch of the second checkpoint. 1 minute 10 remaining on the clock. Danny's going to press forward. Tonic going low. Self-destruct up there. Who's going to combo with it? No one. It's Vanilla, but Ding still caught out. They're going to emerge from that hole they were hiding up in. Young and beautiful. Wind's been taken out of their sails as HSL Esports are going to stall them off, force them away from the payload. And 50 seconds remaining. This could be stalled out by HSL.
One more fight will probably be the answer we see coming out. Both teams with support ultimates as well. Does mean this next fight could be a very long one, assuming neither team double layers their ults on top. Then the real question comes down to which team generates ults first. And you've just seen Proggy get his ult online. Danny isn't too far away, and as far as vanilla self-destructs have gone, today's been a pretty good day. So a number of double kills coming through across a number of the games that we've seen. This would be a good time to step up and show what you got, Danny.
Well, Ding and Hadan just trading evenly at the same time there. They're going to take each other out. They're going to press forward. Even trade, like I said, 5v5. Moving forward, Bogey has that Earth Shatter, takes out Suna without it. Moving forward, Shatter from Tonic comes down. I don't know how many members it hit. It actually hit the majority of HSL, but they couldn't capitalize. And now for the payload, it's going to be Bogey hitting his own, but they're going to find Tonic. That's the difference maker there. Actually getting a kill for that ult committal. Hadan has that Transcendence, and Zeke has a Graviton Surge. Suna's about to match him, but they're going to drop theirs first. HSL Esports going in with this. Zeke takes out Gustav. Ashcroft has already gone down to Ding. Hadan finds the mech, gets Danny out of it. They keep the fight going. Dan still keeping hold of that Transcendence. This is the one fight for HSL Esports, and they've still got that ult to burn. Young and beautiful, stop shy of point B.
Just about, so I think, get rid of the Rhine. There we go. The counter charge comes through. They will stop them just there. So, not a whole lot for HSL to do. We say quite a lot when it comes to Numbani. If you capture that first point, very highly likely that you will then go on to capture second as well, although you will be slightly stalled at the first corner. The real kind of point of contestation comes in when you get towards the third and final point of the map. However, being stopped just before the second probably gives HSL a pretty good setup here to be able to close it out. The interesting thing now is the first point and what teams both employ to try and either take it or, of course, defend it in the case of Young and Beautiful.
Now it's time for HSL. Jump on that offense, really. You've got to match it. Just shy of point B, 94.84 meters. And Young and Beautiful on their defense. They're going to come out putting Gustav on that Ana. Wouldn't surprise me. We've seen it earlier. Long sight lines. Nice bit of a arena for them to play with in terms of point A. They can add some safety as well because that high ground is so important. The one that emerges from the stairs that a lot of offensive teams will take. You can put Ana far away on the other side. If HSL don't have dive options, then that Ana's uncontested.
Absolutely. I like the Young and Beautiful are rolling out here as well with that double long sightline support. By having the Ana and the Zen, it implies that they're going to play on this bridge here where you've just seen Danny go over, play behind the pillars. Maybe get one in the back corner. They can afford to split up a little bit. Either that or they both play on the far back stairs. They have the long sightline going down into the choke that you see on this high ground here, just coming onto the left of your screen where Tonic is currently hanging out. There's a few options on how you can play it, and it's quite hard to dive you because if you go for this, not only dealing in a 1 versus 2 against an Ana and Zen who can sleep you, who can anti-nade you, who can discord you, who can melt you basically, it makes it very tough, and they can look after each other quite well. Looks like by the looks of it, they're going to play on the far side bridge and sit over there with Graceful, who's also playing Protector. So lots of long-range heals coming across to the 3 tanks who are holding the opposite high ground.
I wonder if HSL spot what Young and Beautiful are running and make any adaptations. Or whether they're just going to commit with what they've got here. Zeke on the Sombra. They got the double dive available for them. Zeke, good one to spot it out. Hashcock getting a few ideas of his own. There's the recall there. Zeke going over to the Zarya. So, are they going to keep Progi on there? Is Progi going back? No, he's staying actually the furthest forward member. They're going to stick with the Monkey Goats variant. Yeah,
pretty good here, because this does mean that you can send Progi to go and like contest those two. The barrier or the bubble even helps an awful lot in that regard. And you also have the barrier coming out of the Zarya. You're actually quite survivable. As you can see him jumping up here now as well. Straight away that bubble's down there, forced back. And all the healing is ignored, and the rest of their team sooner gets melted because the healers are kept busy by the Winston.
Yeah, but they're all together as well. All of your healing options are up on that bridge. If you just distract all of them, then the tanks are going to fall. Like you said, Des, they're leaving them out to dry, because Tonic will fall down as well. I like the intent from Young and Beautiful, but that's a poor execution.
It's very tough, because I think the issue you'll always face on maps like Numbani or Assault maps, the same sort of story, is that the attackers have time to scout you out, find out what you're playing, adapt and change, and that's exactly what HSL did. They saw where the two supports were and said, right, they're exposed on the high ground. The only thing you've got to worry about is a Brigitte stunning you, have a projected barrier on your way up, they won't stun you, and you'll be able to pressure them out there while we mow through the 3 tanks on the rest of the team as a block of 5.
Yeah, you got to look at the exchange of bodies there. One Winston was enough to take up 3 players' attention. That allows a 5v3 on the main point, and you can see why it just collapsed for Young and Beautiful. Going to put up some resistance just around this first corner, but they are severely disadvantaged with the ult charge because it's just a lost fight. 5 minutes in the time bank for HSL, not a lot of distance to cover. Very good start for HSL.
Very, very solid start. That's exactly what you want coming out the gate with 5 minutes left on the clock, like you say. And the whole point to go for, essentially. Imagine having 5 minutes to push the second stage in Numbani. Anyone would love that. HSL have got ultimates online too, to make some plays with this if they want to try and pull off this Graviton Surge. Don't want to give it free for Danny to eat, for example, so still waiting for the more opportune moment, I think. Bit of chip damage right now, trying to force the barrier out, then they can go for it.
Force the barrier out, potentially look at forcing out that defense matrix. He sees it get early, there is a brief cooldown after use. Prime window, but Young and Beautiful going to pull the trigger first, sooner. Putting in there, nice block there, shield gets removed. Progi going down. Danny able to get that with the bomb. So Young and Beautiful take control of the payload. Force HSL back to their spawn room. He's still got ults in the bag for HSL. He didn't commit much to try and defend that.
There's one thing I was really unsure of there, is that you're sitting there with the grab. You know you probably got this ult advantage over there if you're tracking their ults properly. And they held onto it for a good 20, 30 seconds. So Young and Beautiful were like, well, if you're not going to move, then we are. We're going to come to you. That's exactly what happened. They pulled off the Giganti combos, or the Giganti bomb combos, we've called it quite a lot. Get the execution, and Young and Beautiful managed to push them back at least momentarily. There's still 3 minutes 45 on the clock.
We've seen how effective proactivity is as well, so Young and Beautiful putting their best foot forward, able to take it to them, and look, they're doing it again. They're able to push them back. HSL Esports paying them more respect this time and giving them all the space they want. Bam up being down, it now opens up a window for them to go in with increased mobility, but they're waiting too long, because now Ashcroft probably got it back off cooldown.
This means Silas can press that Q and run at pretty much any point. Young and Beautiful still a bit dry on those ultimates. Again, this is their time to go. They've got to make a move now. Silas popping the rally is the go sign.
Tonic's got that Earth Shadow, he can shut it all down. He's going to do just that! Beautiful shatter for Tonic! He's going to fall over HSL as Jing takes out Hadan and Gustav finding the double kill. Make that a triple. Young and Beautiful really taking it to HSL and burning through this 5-minute time bank.
And Graceful doing work there as well with that shield bash again. Every single time you see a shadow in this meta, like, very unlikely will it just be a vanilla shatter where it's only used on its own. More often than not, Goats does boil down to combo ultimate usage, whether it's layering support ultimates, whether it's the bash into the shatter, whether it's Graviton Surge into self-destruct. You're looking to try and pull these big combos off. And HSL, they've got one of those online right now. Not too far from the shatter either.
It was all going so well for Young and Beautiful, then Suna just throws out a grab on the payload. Nice to see.
I think they were hoping to catch one person and isolate them and turn it into a 6 versus 5, but didn't quite happen.
Well, here we go. Graviton Surge being able to use. They found Suna. They're going to pull him away. Double bomb for Tech 3-6 as Gustav and Tonic are going back to the spawn room. And they got a long walk back to the point. This is the window HSL need to finish it off. Shatter, hang on a minute. Did that clip him around the corner? No, it couldn't. Surely not.
You'd hope not, but it was a bit of a wasted use, to be honest. They really need to use it right there. Mum's now come back into contest. You are going to see Danny on the point, bringing out the self-destruct as well.
Self-destruct buys some time. Gustav goes in with the sound barrier as well. They're going to eat that flame strike as Tonic walks in, but they're not quick enough. HSL Esports go into the half, 2-0.
That could have been a very different story if Young and Beautiful had held onto that Graviton Surge and not just whiffed it at the point, catching no one. Again, I think the intent was to catch one person, pick them off and turn it into a 5 versus 6, but I don't know, man. Graviton Surge is pretty important. You can't afford to be whiffing it into the payload like that and catching literally no one. And HSL knew with that threat down, they could push it and make plays happen. Again, a few question marks for Danny as well. Like, that was such an easy grab to eat as well. It's literally directly into your team on second
Hail
point.
Mary.
Exactly. They literally just went for it. Like, they're the kind of ults we saw eaten all the time last week, but it's getting through for free here. I don't know, man. You got to know that they're going for that aggressive play when yours is down, but hey, they got punished for it. Down 0-2 into the half.
Well, we seem to think there needs to be some edges that need to be tidied up, but we're going to throw it over to our analyst desk to see what they think.